Okay, and we are live. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel on this fine Tuesday evening here with your latest Manchester United news regarding the takeover and possible transfer news as well. Big talk, of course, that Manchester United are well and truly in for Kim Min Jae of Napoli. So very exciting times for Manchester United fans, and what we will begin with is the big one, and we can see it right below me here. It is the takeover. This is the biggest thing going on at the club at the moment, and honestly, it is kind of hard to put out videos talking about transfers, top four finishes, when the takeover could be happening very soon, and that is something that we have to be very excited about as fans. We need this takeover to go through. We need the Glazer family out of the club. So, with that in mind, let's have a look at where we currently stand. So, of course, all this started back in November. In November, the Glazers announced they would look for strategic investment opportunities. And since then, we have had multiple rounds of bidding. We have had one, two, three bids, and now there is talk of a fourth bid coming in from Qatar. And that is, I can't say I'm surprised. Honestly, in recent weeks, of course, we have seen that Jim Ratcliffe seems to have moved ahead with a proposal that would allow the Glazer family to stay on at the club. Something that I'm sure we have to avoid. And as fans, we want the Glazers completely gone. We do not want to have the Glazer family in charge of Manchester United fan. As a club, we don't want them to be here in any way, shape or form. Radcliffe potentially bringing them in as business partners, that is a betrayal of the fans. Of course, he stepped forward in the summer and said he would buy the club outright. We cannot let him go back on his word, in my opinion. So with that in mind, we are currently running a poll in the comments, guys. So who will buy Manchester United? There are three options on that. So we have Jim Ratcliffe, Qatar, and the third option, it's the one we have to avoid most, the one we cannot afford, and that is the Glazer family staying in control of Manchester United Football Club. Something that we need to avoid. And with that in mind, let's have a look at the latest breaking news. So, of course, Sheikh Jassim and the Qatari bid are potentially going to go in for a fourth offer for the club. Now, this has emerged in recent days. We've seen the Glazer family staying at a hotel owned by the Sheikh's father in London, and you have to think that there are some kind of business meetings going on. Whenever United were previously in the Carabao Cup final, of course, we did see the Glazer family attend, but they flew out of London the same day. They flew straight back to Tampa Bay in Florida. They did not want to be there for a long time, but this time's different. They've been here for 3 or 4 days now. They have had meetings. They are very close to Manchester United head office, and I think something's up. I think something is happening. Something is definitely in the works in regards to that. So a quick overview of where we currently stand, of course. So as we know, Jim Ratcliffe's bid is less than Qatar's bid, but it is for a lower percentage of the club, and that is key. That is something we absolutely have to bear in mind. Jim Ratcliffe is simply talking about buying out all the Glazers except for Joel and Avram Glazer, who seem most reluctant in terms of selling the club, and he will keep them on as a business partner, somebody to work with, and that is something we need to avoid. Now, of course, Qatar have put in an offer of around 5 billion for the entire club, so that is 100% ownership, and that's definitely what fans want. I think if Jim Ratcliffe put that bid in, I think fans will be very happy with that. But obviously there is resistance to potential Qatari ownership. We're seeing this from the media, seeing it from the press, and from fan bases as well. Now, of course, everybody has their own opinions on potential Qatari ownership. There are certainly negative connotations with that. We cannot escape that. That is fact. But it does seem like Qatar are going back in with another bid. Now, this is coming from The Express, and they've said that Sheikh Jassim has become the dark horse to win the race. As the clock is ticking down, there are still several twists and turns that lie in store. It has emerged that the Glazers seemingly held late takeover talks on Monday, and it's possible that the American, of course, referring to the Glazers, staying with Sheikh Jassim in London, were there as a potential sweetener. So, of course, the Glazer family, they want every penny out of this. They want as much money as they can physically get for this football club. They have been here for 18 years. They will try to remain for as long as they can. They thrive off the vision, thrive off the fan base, growing weary of their tactics, how they wear us down. They've done it time and time and time and time again, and this is something that no doubt they're trying to do with this. Of course, they will want to drag this process on and really start to slow down any potential takeover. And why they're doing this? For a simple reason, and that is because it gets them a better deal. Now, of course, there are also concerns. Certainly for me, the longer this drags on, the more we have to question whether or not Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Qatar, are they going to walk away from a deal? Because, simply put, they are business people at the end of the day. Even Qatar, who do want to come in and buy the club in its entirety, they say they don't want to run it as a business, but they won't overpay for it. They will not spend too much money. So, we will just get that into the comments there, guys, for you guys to see as well. Sheikh Jassim appears to be the dark horse to win the race. As the clock ticks down, there are several twists and turns that could lie in store. So this is far from finished, unfortunately. Originally, of course, it was announced that anything would potentially revolving around a takeover would be finished by the end of March, something that we have long gone past. We're halfway through April now. It is fastly approaching the stage where we have to go out. We need to start planning our summer transfer window. The Glazers are once again screwing over this fan base, but will there be a late twist in the tale? That is the question. So I can see some people have joined in. So welcome to the stream, guys. And of course, if you guys want to get voting on the poll, who do you think will become the new owner of Manchester United? The options are, of course, Jim Ratcliffe, Qatar, and the third option, and the option I'm sure we all want to avoid very much, is that the Glazer family stay in charge of the club. Something that we need to avoid as a fan base, something we definitely cannot afford to happen, because we will slip further and further behind. The only reason we have done so well this season is because some of our players have stepped up. Erik ten Hag has done a great job, and some of the other clubs around us haven't done as well. In an alternative season, they would have went out, ideally not spent money on Casemiro and Anthony last summer, and they would have ran the club into the ground even further. Something that we've seen time and time again. But where does this all leave us now? In the here and now, where do we currently stand with this? Honestly, it puts us in a position, the exact same position that came out from the Daily Mail this week, and Mike Keegan, who has been very, very reliable with all this, and that is, we are in the dark. We do not know what is happening, and that is unforgivable. We have to know what's happening. We need to know where our club is going. And the Glazers, they do not care. They just want to suck every last penny out of this club. But it is not inconceivable that Sheikh Jassim and Qatar, they go back in with another offer for the club. That is something that has come out. And a fourth round of bidding, all that's going to do is prolong the inevitable. It'll mean Ratcliffe will put together another bid as well. And that's what it'll come down to, unfortunately, and that is the situation that we find ourselves in as a football club. So we can see some more people joining in. Welcome to the stream, welcome to the channel, guys. Fully interactive news show here on the channel tonight. So if you guys want to give voting on the poll, who do you think will be the new owner of Manchester United? Let me know down there, and any more thoughts, get them into the comments. Of course, fully interactive, all comments will be read out as always. So going back on to where we stand, Erik ten Hag, of course, came out after the win against Wolves, and he said, I have a high standard of player I want to bring in. I have my plans for the summer drawn out. It all depends on finances, and that's very concerning. As we know, we need big players. We need high-level players, the likes of Victor Osimhen, perhaps a Harry Kane, somebody like that to come in, lead the line for Manchester United. If we do not have new ownership, we will be in for a very long, hard summer, unfortunately, and that's hard to escape. The thought of the Glazers continuing to screw over this fan base. We can see new comments in there from Big T. I think Ratcliffe gets the club on the basis that the Glazers do not want to go. Honestly, man, I do agree with you. I think we are now kind of in a position where it looks like most of the Glazer family want to sell, except for Joel and Avram Glazer, and that will lead, probably, in my opinion, to Jim Ratcliffe offering them a chance to stay on as partners in some way, shape or form, to keep on taking money out of the club, and he will win the race on that basis. That will be their preferred bid. It's one of those, it's like Qatar might have offered more money for the club, but Jim Ratcliffe has offered more money for a smaller percentage of the club, and that is a better deal for the Glazer family, unfortunately. Obviously, In a dream world, Radcliffe would buy the Glazers out completely, but it all depends on what they're willing to do. Even still now, months and months after all this began, there is still big questions whether the Glazers actually want to sell, and that for me is completely unforgivable. That is, it's genuinely just a shocking treatment of the club, of the fan base. It's not good whatsoever. For where we want to be as a club, we need to go out, of course, with new owners, new ambition, back the manager, and see what we can do next season, because we do not want to be having the same conversations. And this is something that we find ourselves doing time and time again with this takeover, is having the same conversations over and over about, will we be sold, who's going to buy us. This should have been resolved months ago. We should have had new owners in by now. We should have had potentially new directors, new CEOs, new director of football perhaps brought in already. Regardless of what happens now, even if we get took over in the next couple of weeks, which is very, very unlikely, we're going to be in a position where we're going to have Richard Arnold, John Murda making the footballing decisions once again. And we've seen last year just how effective that was, of course, turning up in Barcelona as the heads of Manchester United Football Club to buy Frankie de Jong, and you don't get your player. It's embarrassing. Those guys, I really question their level of ability, if they're at all suited to the role, but we will be stuck with them regardless of what happens. And of course, we've seen in recent weeks as well, both Qatar and Jim Ratcliffe had asked the Glazer family, should their offer be accepted, could they control the transfer window that is to come? That was shut down as well. And I genuinely don't get it. Like, it's so frustrating at this point. It is very, very disheartening. But we have to endure as a fan base. This is what the Glazer family thrive off. This is what they live off, is division in the fan base, where they can go wear us down and get the best deal for themselves. But I can see people joining in. I can see votes on the poll, and we see that Jim Ratcliffe has the lead in the poll. You guys seem to think Ratcliffe could be the new owner of Manchester United. Honestly, I agree with Big T. I am kind of swaying that way myself. I think this could be a scenario where the best deal for the Glazers might not be the best deal overall in terms of money, but it allows them to stay on, gives them a lot of money for ruining the club over this last 20 years or so, and I think that's where we're heading as a fan base. I think that's the direction the club is going, and it's very disheartening. We want them completely gone. That is the main objective. That is what we have to strive for as a fan base, and that is what Radcliffe originally promised back last summer when he said he would love to buy the club and he would buy the Glazers out. It just depends. But I think Radcliffe could be that guy. I think Radcliffe is going to win this race as it stands in this moment in time, based on the facts we know and everything going on around the club. There is a reluctance from Qatar to go out and really blow Radcliffe out of the water in terms of a £6-7 billion deal for the club. And honestly, I don't blame them either. But just because Qatar might have more money doesn't mean that they should overpay. They've made that abundantly clear throughout the sales process that they will not overpay for the club. They will not pay stupid money the way the Glazers want to. And I can't blame them. Honestly, it's their money. They know if they overpay for United, they will overpay for everything going forward. And yeah, it just genuinely remains to be seen where we will be going with that. But where we are going now with the stream is a quick look at the latest transfer news for Manchester United. Now, this is something I'm very excited about. We have been rumoured in recent weeks, this last couple of days, that we want to put in an offer for Napoli's Kim Min Jae, one of the best centre-backs in European football this season, a player who's done so well at Napoli, winning the Serie A title. And it all depends on what Napoli want as a club, because Kim Min Jae, until the end of July, has a buyout clause of €45 million, and that is a bargain for a player of that quality, of that ability. And if we can go out and get him, I will be so happy. I expect Harry Maguire to move on in the summer. A lot remains to be seen about Victor Lindelof's future. I think he's a very good player, but it's whether or not he's happy being third, fourth centre-back. He may want to move on. So Kim Min Jae certainly is a player who I will be very excited about if we manage to sign. We, of course, ran a poll on the channel just yesterday, actually, it was, and you guys all seem to want to see a bit of a scout report on Kim Min Jae to see what sort of a player he is, where he would fit in, and how he could improve this team. I think from what I've seen already, from the research I've done for that video, we could have an absolute world beater on our hands. He is absolutely fantastic, and he would go so well with Lisandro Martinez. We would certainly have two centre backs really capable of playing the ball forward, increasing our technical level, our ability to break teams down in possession. Look at us in recent weeks. See, when Lisandro Martinez has been out of this team, what happens? Our form has plummeted. We struggle to play out from the back. Lisandro Martinez's ability helps us move up the pitch. It covers a lot of De Gea's weaknesses. Without him, we have struggled. And if we bring Kim Min Jae in, who is equally as good in possession, certainly Manchester United would be a better team for that. But some more people joining in, so welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. If you guys are new, there's currently a poll running in the comments on who will be the new owner of Manchester United. So if you guys want to let me know your thoughts on that poll, get voting on it down below. So, Kim Min Jae, what do you guys think? Would you like to see United go out and buy him in the summer? Of course. I think what we have to do is look at who we currently have at centre back as well. Rafael Varane is absolutely fantastic. He's had a really solid season and definitely has improved a lot from last season. Lisandro Martinez, very, very good. Unbelievable. So good in terms of his technical levels. His defending is brilliant. But my concern is with those two, it comes down to Rafael Varane's fitness, and that's why I think Kim Min Jae could be a really good option. That's why I think he could be a fantastic player to bring in. Bring in when Rafael Varane's injured. Perhaps he could replace him in the team as well, should he prove to be a really good signing for the club. But yeah, other than that, of course, there are the standard rumours. Victor Osimhen, Napoli looking 150 million for him now. Of course, they bumped the price up right after I did a video on him, because that's just the way it goes. But in all seriousness, going back to the original point, Harry Kane, another player we could potentially be looking at in the summer. A lot of people have a lot of ambitions. Harry Kane certainly wants to win some trophies. Never going to win anything at Tottenham Hotspur, in my opinion. So he has to go out, get himself a new club. United could be that club. He could be very, very good for us. And I am working on another video covering Harry Kane, and that will be very exciting. But guys, as well, for anybody new in the comments, we will of course be covering the entire summer transfer window, and we will be covering everything to do with the Manchester United sale. So if you guys do want to stay tuned for all that, you know what to do. Hit that sub button. Helps me out, helps grow the channel, grow the community, and it allows me to do much more content for you guys. So moving back to the main theme of tonight's stream, the main topic of conversation, that is the takeover of Manchester United. That is what we are here to discuss, and I want to know your guys' thoughts. So we can see in the poll running in the comments, currently Qatar are leading by 82%. A lot of people think Qatar will be the owners. I'm not sure. I'm kind of in the position where I want the Glazers gone so badly that an offer to completely remove them from the club and invest a lot of money seems so tantalizing on paper. I think the realist in me thinks that the Glazers are going to take some sort of deal with Jim Ratcliffe where he will buy the family members who want to leave the club, and that would give him a majority control, whilst those who wish to stay can stay on, make some more money out of the club. That's unfortunately where I think we are heading. That's where I think, unfortunately, is going to happen. But it all depends. I was a lot more enthusiastic about Radcliffe's bid when it looked like it was going to be for 100% ownership. Of course, there are still a lot of positives around Radcliffe's bid. Of course, wiping out the debt is a big one, investing in the stadium as well as promised. If he does that, I think certainly he will be a bit more popular amongst Manchester United fans. But yeah, so you guys seem to be massively favouring a Qatari takeover. 86% of you guys have voted that Qatar will buy Manchester United. Nobody thinks the Glazers will stay. I am that way inclined. There's always been a fear in my heart, in my soul, where will the Glazers go, won't they? But I think we have to look at how long this has gone on for. They're paying the Rain Group an absolute fortune. They're not going to stay. Surely not. If it does happen, I think it'll genuinely be horrendous for the club. I genuinely think we will never have seen protests quite like it, and we don't want that to happen. We want the Glazers out. We want new owners brought in who want to care about the club, invest in the club, be ambitious, try to win trophies, and that's what Manchester United are about. And finally, we might be getting back to that. I think we have a great manager. I think we have some very good players. With the right players brought in, some new ownership as well, some new leadership at the club, I think we could be on for a real special couple of seasons. Genuinely, I've believed that all season. And right now, I definitely am 100% convinced we are going in the right direction. But if we get rid of the Glazers, it would be like taking the handbrake off the car. We would fly forward, in my opinion. So that's where we stand at the minute. But guys, keep those votes coming. Can see some more people joining in. Plenty more people actually as well. Apologies, my laptop isn't showing the live chat box, so I have it up on my phone. So that's why I'm kind of looking down, if you guys are wondering. So keep voting on the poll. Of course, Qatar, heavy favourites amongst you guys to end up winning the race to buy Manchester United. 89% of the vote now. Qatar, definitely the popular option. But guys, let me know your thoughts. Who will be buying Manchester United? The latest news coming out is that Sheikh Jassim is planning fourth bid for the club. That is where we stand at the minute. That is what has come out in the news in recent hours, especially this morning. Everything seemed to break all at once that he would go in for another offer. A lot of that does come from the same time period, of course, where it was announced that the Glazers were staying at a hotel owned by his father. Could there be some business talks going on there? Certainly a possibility. It's no coincidence. Whenever the Glazers were last in London for the Carabao Cup final, they flew home the same day. They did not stick around. They were there for the Women's FA Cup final, very ironically as well, considering the first thing they did when buying the club was to scrap the women's team. Absolutely shameless from those guys, as always, but we do expect it at this stage. But is something going down? Are we on the cusp of something? I really hope so, and I'm sure Eric Ten Hag, if he was sitting with me as well, he would agree. He would definitely want to see some progress made, some progression made towards the sale, because he does not know what sort of a budget he will have this summer. He doesn't know if he will have a lot of money to spend, very little money to spend. Of course, there is the real possibility of us taking out more debt in order to finance summer transfer moves. We did it last season with Casemiro and Anthony after we spent our budget on the other players we signed. Could we do that again? I really hope not. I'm sick of debt. I'm sick of credit cards being used. We need to go out and invest in this team properly. That's what we have to do. I think with the Glazers' reluctance to let the likes of Ratcliffe and Qatar have an active role in terms of planning summer transfer windows, it's screwing us over. It's screwing Eric Ten Hag over. It's screwing Manchester United fans over. But they don't care. As always with those guys, it's money, 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 and that's what it will always come down to. And that's why I think Ratcliffe will end up buying the club, because he has put in a better offer in terms of how much he is offering for how much he is getting back. He is offering less money on paper, but more money straight to the Glazers, and that is what I think they will go for. But you guys definitely seem to be favouring Qatar. I think the fourth bid could be key. If Sheikh Jassim comes out with an outrageous offer of 6 billion plus, I think he will get the club. I think that is a real possibility, but it all depends, because he will be overpaying for it. And according to rumours, he has lost a bit of money recently with some Swiss banks collapsing, but it all depends on what Sheikh Jassim wants to do. He is the dark horse in this race, but he certainly has a big say on where Manchester United will end up as a football club. If he comes out with a huge offer, pays off the Glazers, buys the club in its entirety, I think United definitely, we will see the debt paid off, potentially a new stadium or massive redevelopment, huge investment in the team. I think that is a real possibility. As well as that, we have to consider, of course, financial fair play rules. But the truth is, United are an absolute titan of a football club, and we are currently paying back around £100 million a season in terms of debt repayments. And imagine that. Imagine if we had £100 million extra to spend. New comment in there from Big T. Things must be bad transfer kitty wise. If I was a manager, looking at Rabiot again. Yep, completely agree. Of course, Adrian Rabiot is rumoured to be on Manchester United's radar once again, and that could be disappointing, as Big T has said. We seen last season, of course, we went from Rabiot to Casemiro. That was because the Glazers panicked. That was because they took out their credit card and they put the debt under the club once again. I would be concerned. I don't think Rabiot is the answer. Of course, his mother apparently is a very difficult customer to deal with and has caused a lot of disruption. Something Eric Ten Hag has done all season is remove bad influences from the dressing room, of course. Ronaldo was gone. Last summer, Paul Pogba left. Dean Henderson left. This summer, Harry Maguire will probably go. Players who are causing issues behind the scenes are being moved on by Eric Ten Hag. I don't think Rabiot fits that description. We can't have Rabiot at the club, man. Yeah, so completely agree with you there, Big T, man. Thank you for that one as well. And yes, guys, so thank you very much for watching so far. Any more thoughts, get them in the comments. And we will move on to the next point that we want to talk about. Just touch really briefly, and I suppose it's kind of a bit of a preview for the weekend's match. And that is, will Manchester United finish in the top 4? I really hope so. I think watching Leicester last night, I was hopeful going into the match, thinking Leicester, those guys are fighting for their lives. Surely they're going to have something about them in this, but they just didn't. They were so pathetic. They were weak, and Liverpool easily beat them. Now, Liverpool have a difficult match at the weekend. Aston Villa are in really, really good form. Unai Emery has them playing very good football, and it all depends on what happens in that match. But to put you guys' minds at ease, as I'm sure we're getting a little bit stressed out. It is very difficult, United, to lose out on top 4. We have to at least lose one match and draw one match. We only need 2 wins against Chelsea, Bournemouth and Fulham. Chelsea, they're not playing good. Chelsea are playing really, really bad this season, and especially in recent weeks. Bournemouth, they are already on the beach. They've kept themselves up fantastically well, but they are not playing well in the last couple of matches. They've gone out against Palace and lost. They've gone out against, I think it was Arsenal, and lost as well. So definitely for me, Bournemouth are in holiday mode. And Fulham, they're going to finish mid-table. No European football for them. They're as high up in the league as they can get. Hopefully we can see the job through. So please, please, please let those words not come back to haunt me. I really, really hope I don't get clipped up for saying that. But I do think United will get that top 4 face. I think more likely, if anyone's going to miss out, it might be Newcastle. Of course, they are playing Brighton on Thursday night. Then they have to play Leicester. And then I think they play... I actually can't even remember who they're playing. But I think if anyone's going to miss out, it'll be Newcastle. But I think Liverpool, they're going to be Europa League next year. Hopefully. Hopefully. That is the hope. So, with that in mind, and having a quick look at the match for the weekend, let's get back to the main topic, because I can see plenty more people have joined in with the stream. So, guys, thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. And if you guys have any thoughts, get them into the comments. Get voting on the poll. As we can see, 32 votes. Qatar are well ahead. You guys seem to be thinking Qatar will become the new owners of Manchester United. Let's see what happens. I think there's definitely twists in there's twists in the story yet. We do not know for sure who will win the race to become the new owners of Manchester United. Will it be Jim Ratcliffe? Will it be Qatar? Who knows? That is the real question. The only people who know that is the Glazers, and we can only react to the news we are given. We can only go out and see with our own 2 eyes what is being fed to the press. A lot of what will be going out will be spin. It'll be trying to try to get the other side to jump. You might see Jim Ratcliffe moves ahead, and that's because the Glazer family are hoping that by doing that, Qatar will put in a big offer, and vice versa. The same thing is happening. Of course, Qatar want to make themselves very appealable to the fans, putting out that we want to buy the likes of Mbappe, stuff like that. Let's just see what happens. A lot of talk coming out. Not all of it's true. Not all of it can be trusted. But that is what we are here for on the channel. We are here to have a look at what is the news, decide what could be real, what isn't real, look at credible sources and make our own judgments from there. So guys, of course, keep voting on the poll. Plenty of votes on it. You guys seem to be thinking Qatar will win this race. Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers staying are both only on 6%, Qatar on 89%. You guys clearly want Qatar as the owners of Manchester United. So of course, guys, just quick plug for myself, if you do let me indulge myself. We will be covering the sale in its entirety, the summer transfer window, the remaining matches this season, and all your scout reports, everything you need to know for the summer transfer window coming up ahead. A very exciting time, a very big transfer window. And of course, as well, we will cover all of pre-season with some watch-alongs for the matches. So if you guys want to stick around for that, please consider hitting that sub button. It really helps me out, helps the channel out, and it lets us bring you guys even more content moving forward. So with that in mind, let's get back to the talk. Any more, get your thoughts in there down below. Big T has put some very good comments in there, some very good points to make. Firstly, of course, he has said, I think Ratcliffe gets the club on the basis the Glazers don't want to go. I think that's a realistic thing that could happen. Whether you're for that, whether you're against that, it could happen. That is real potential. It could definitely happen. He has also said, of course, that looking at the transfer funds, if we're going after Rabiot on a fund, it would make you worried. Completely agree as well. We need big money this summer because we need to go out and buy some very high class players. That is what Erik ten Hag wants. That is what Erik ten Hag needs to move this club up to the next level. That is what we need to go out and accomplish. We need to go out, spend some money. And he said, of course, after the most recent match against Wolves, he came out in the press and he said he has a big plan for the summer, bring in some high standard players, some very high quality players. But it all depends on money. It depends on finance. And that's no position to be in. Already that is an absolute disgrace because when you think about it, Liverpool and Arsenal, City, Newcastle, Spurs, Chelsea, all those clubs will have already started planning their transfer windows. They'll be deep in talk with agents, working out deals in the background in advance. We are going to be left behind. If we do not have a plan, we do not know what we're doing, we will be left behind. New comment in there from Abdin, we want Qatar money. Completely agree. I mean, we need that money. We need the investment. Can Jim Ratcliffe deliver that? We have serious questions about that. Of course, he is a very rich guy. His company are worth billions. They could invest it. But it all depends because there's every chance that Jim Ratcliffe turns around, runs this club like a business. Whether he does or not, whether he does it to the same extremes that the Glazers do, I don't think he will. But we need money because firstly, our stadium needs massive, massive renovation. The club, the squad, it needs big improvement as well. Even looking at our starting 11, there are so many holes to fill before you even start to move on to the squad, the bench. We need a new striker. We need another midfielder. You can argue a new goalkeeper, more defenders. And that's just for your starting 11. Most teams have their starting 11 already sorted. Man City, of course, their bench is perfect. Their squad is perfect. Their team is so good. But they will go out, spend money in this transfer window. And if we don't match that, we're going to fall behind. If we have any ambitions as a club to go on, win some big trophies, challenge for Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, we have to spend the money. We have to keep investing. And that is something we did so often under Sir Alex Ferguson, and it's what we have to get back to as a club, is going out and season after season improving your team, working on your team, and bettering the players you already have. Whenever you look at the likes of Real Madrid, for instance, they've gone out, they've had a midfield three of Casemiro, Kroos and Modric. They've replaced that with Camavinga, Valverde, Bellingham and Tchouaméni, while still having Modric and Kroos at the club. We need to get to that level. We have to go out in a season or two when Casemiro begins to decline. We need to bring in somebody new. We have to go out and improve on Eriksen. We need strikers. We need defenders. We probably need a new goalkeeper at some stage as well. We have to go out and be ambitious. With the Glazers, we will not get that. With Qatar, I think we will. The big question is, how ambitious does Jim Ratcliffe want to be? How big does he want to go in this transfer window? How big does he want Manchester United to be? That's what it comes down to. New comment in there from Wesley. We need Qatar to help MUFC. Hold on one second. We need Qatar to help MUFC reach the next level. That's simple. Ratcliffe could help us, but it will take 3 to 4 years to reach that level. Yeah, completely agree. I think with Qatari money, you're potentially looking at halving that, where we could be there in a season or two. I think if Ratcliffe comes in, drip feeds some money in, I think we could be in a position where we are struggling to compete, certainly for the first season or two. But by that stage, the likes of Casemiro, Eriksen, players like that will be in their mid-30s, and we have to start thinking about replacing them as well at that point. So it is difficult. We need that sort of investment. We need to go out, spend some money, and really, really hammer home the point that we are Manchester United. For season after season, under our previous owners, Martin Edwards, we worked on the stadium, we built great training facilities, we had the best players. We went, look, right before the Glazers arrived, perfect example, we had the likes of David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Ruud van Nistelrooy in that team. We went out, we bought Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, and they replaced those players in that team. And we never replaced them from that. Big T, big cash does not equal instant success. Take a look at Chelsea. Completely agree. I think we are also a perfect example of that, where we have spent so much money in recent windows and recent years, and we haven't improved as a team. We've actually gotten worse. Big money is great, and it's definitely useful to have that sort of money. There's a real correlation between the money spent and the trophies you win, but it's not always the case. It doesn't guarantee anything. What we have to do is go out, bring in people who know what they're doing to make good footballing decisions, bring in good players, back the manager. That's what we have to do. Any serious club, they have directors of football who know what they're doing. We have Richard Arnold, who was Ed Woodward's best friend, and we have John Murda, who was previously at Everton. I mean, that's not the level United need. That's not the level we need. New comments in there from Lucky Singh. Qatar in, I want money for Ten Hag. I mean, yeah, I think we want that. He broke. I mean, yeah, the money is not good. The financial situation is certainly not strong of Manchester United at the minute. Earnings are down. The debt is up. The credit is up. I believe we owe something in the region of £150 million on transfers that we haven't even fully paid off yet, where we've bought players in installments, paid half up front, say we'll pay the half next year, just like you're buying on like Klarna or your credit card. So yeah, that's not good for the club. That's not good for what we want to accomplish, but we do have to go out. We have to invest in this team. But as Big T said, we need the right players. We have to go out and buy the right players. Teams have spent lots of money in the past, Chelsea, ourselves included, on a lot of big players, and it hasn't always worked out. The likes of Paul Pogba, Angel Di Maria, of course, Romelu Lukaku, players like that, they do not always work out. What you have to do is go out, make sure you're buying the right players with the right attitude who will fit into your team. That is what we have to do, and that is ultimately what it comes down to, because anybody can go out and throw money about. I'm sure if we were given a blank checkbook, we could go buy plenty of players from Manchester United. New comment in there as well from Leonard. Qatar money needed and build our Man United FC around Leitch, Casemiro, Fernandez, Anthony Rash, Sancho, Garnacho, and an old modern big striker like Victor Orbobia of Ajax. Do you know what, man? I completely agree with that. We have a very solid foundation. We have a very good bunch of players. We have the right sort of team. We need to improve that. We have the foundation, the centre of a really solid team. We have to go out and improve on that. We have to add more players, get a better squad, get a goalkeeper. I think you're completely right. I would love to see us go out, bring in a big striker, someone like an Azim Hen. Brian Brobby, I think he's very good. I definitely have been impressed with him. Harry Kane, a potential as well. Certainly a lot of very good players out there. A lot of players we could go out and sign. And I think what we have to look at as well is like, look at our current options. Our current striking options, Wout Weghorst, Anthony Martial, cannot get worse than that. We have to go out, spend big. I think the biggest problems for us as a football club are at both ends of the pitch. We need to sort out what we're doing with a goalkeeper. If De Gea is staying, he needs to work on passing. We need to go out and get a striker, because I don't think we're ever going to get goals out of Weghorst. Anthony Martial, we cannot depend on him for fitness. So we have to go out, bring somebody big in. New comment in there from Lucky as well. Lucky Singh with Maguire, McTominay will be first to go. Yeah, I think they will be. Of course, there was talk of Harry Maguire potentially leaving. I think I would like to cover that in a video, because it's a very interesting case of Harry Maguire. Somebody who came in, he played well at the start. He did quite well in that team under Ollie in the first season, and he's just completely gone off a cliff. It's because he's so slow, because he's just not good enough. McTominay as well, a midfielder who plays about 10 passes a match and hides from the ball most times. It's not really good enough. As well as that, new comment in there from Quinton. Jim Ratcliffe will buy Man United. Qatar are buying Spurs. I'm not sure. It could happen. Anything could happen potentially. Definitely will be interesting to see what happens in regards to that. As we know, Qatar were meant to be in for Liverpool at one stage, but that doesn't seem to be happening now. Liverpool are no longer for sale. All depends on what Spurs owners want to do. They could stay, they could go. I think there are twists in the tail yet. I think there's a lot of things that still could happen, but I do think Quentin definitely has a very good point there. Radcliffe could be the guy to buy us. And on the poll, you guys definitely are favouring Qatari ownership, 87% of the vote. So very good to see there as well. Would you bring Diallo back into the squad, or would you loan him out again from Big T? Honestly, I mean, I love Amad Diallo. I think he's had a fantastic season at Sunderland. Such a good player. I think he's at the age now. He is a little bit older than the likes of Garnacho. Amad is 20. He has to play minutes. So if we can't guarantee him at least a start a week, perhaps in a League Cup or an FA Cup, we have to take a serious look. I think, honestly, if Sunderland get promoted, it could be worth our while sending him back on loan there. It's a system where he knows, the manager likes him, he knows the players, the fans really love him at Sunderland. If we can get him a loan in Premier League, that's the best thing for him. If he can go out, have a loan, play 30, 35 matches in the Premier League, that would be fantastic for his development. But that's a really good point from Big T there. So guys, any thoughts on Amad Diallo? Would you guys like to see him loaned out next season or potentially brought in to start? I think he'd be a great option. I think he definitely offers a lot, something different from what we already have. But it's about his development. It's about what happens to him as a club, as a player. Hopefully, he goes on to big things, because I've been so impressed with Amad. I think he's definitely shown why Manchester United wanted to sign him, why we spent so much money to buy him at the start for what was it, about 30 million for an 18-year-old. So it all depends on that. Will certainly be an interesting time, and I really hope that Amad makes it, because he's a fantastic player. He's so talented, and he works hard for his team, links up well with his teammates, very unselfish player, and boy can he find the top corner as well. He's a phenomenal young player, and I think between Amad, maybe Palestri as well, but Amad and Garnacho, we have two fantastic young players on the wings. And add that to what we already have in Anthony, Rashford. We are well sorted in the wings. Definitely out wide, we are so strong. Probably our best position in terms of overall strength. Can't really think of another position where we are so well covered. I think maybe left back between Malacia and Luke Shaw, we're quite well covered, but certainly on the wings, we are definitely looking good. So new comments in there from Lucky Smith. Alex Tellez, Eric Bailly, Martial, Veghorst are going as well. Player sales will be crucial for us to buy. Yep, I do agree with that. I think player sales will be very important. And I think we have to be better. We have to be ruthless, and we cannot keep hold of players for the sake of it anymore. We might have to get rid of Dean Henderson, perhaps. Martial, you certainly can argue he will not be fit enough to play enough matches. I would say the same perhaps of Sabitzer. It all depends on what Eric Ten Hag wants to do there. I think as well as that, when you consider other players who could potentially leave, maybe Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire. New comment in there from DJG. Do you think we're banking too much on Rashford having another season like this? I think it's a big debate. Are we possibly? Do you know what? Yes. It's something we have said on the show before, something I've believed. As good as Rashford has been this season, we've been far too reliant on him for goals. Now, Rashford has 30 goals this season. Our next top goal scorer is Bruno with 11. That's a big drop-off. And other than Bruno and Rashford, nobody has even scored 10 goals this season. And when you consider that Manchester United have played about 60 matches, that's not good enough. Anthony should be in double figures. Sancho, Martial, Veghorst himself has played enough matches and missed enough opportunities where he should have scored more goals. Our lack of goals has really hurt us this season. Our goal difference is 10 in the league, plus 10. We've only scored one more goal than Leicester all season. I mean, we need to improve on that. So Leonard's in there with a comment. Diallo has to impress in the pre-season to be called back, and if not, I will be heartbroken. It's not easy to play for Man United. You must be talented. The weight of playing for the Red Devils are massive. Yes, completely agree with that. I think a lot of players at the club aren't good enough. A lot of players, the weight of the shirt seems to hold them back, and hopefully Amad can make it. I'm really impressed with him. Some players who I absolutely love at the club. I think Sancho, I was so excited when we brought him in. You could probably say the weight of the shirt is too much for him. Does he fit in at Manchester United? I'm not sure, and that's something we have to consider. But guys, can see more people joining in, so thank you very much for joining. Keep voting on the poll. Currently 60 votes on the poll. 87% of you guys want and think Qatar will buy Manchester United. That is a very high number. I did think Ratcliffe would have some more votes in there. Oh, new comment in there as well from Lucky Singh. Would bring Ahmad back. And DJG has says, sorry, cut off the rest of my Rashford comment. I was going to say, are we just ignoring world-class competition for Rashford and relying on Garnacho? And Lucky Singh has said, we keep level-headed. Do you know what? I think world-class competition is a good thing. I think if we bring somebody else in on the wing, perhaps they can make a bit of a difference. But I think with Garnacho, we have a player who is only going to get better. And I think for where we are at the minute, maybe we need to focus on other areas. I think the striker is the most important thing. That goal scorer is what we need as a team. We need that predatory striker like an Osimhen or a Harry Kane, somebody to come in, score some goals. And that'll take a lot of the burden off Rashford, because when Rashford hasn't played well this season, we have struggled to score goals. I was impressed with us at the weekend, scoring 2 goals without him, and that's only because we have had so few goals in that team all season. We've only scored 2 more goals than Leicester City, who are going to get relegated. I mean, it says a lot about where we are as a club. A new comment in there as well from apologies, it is Mabiri John. We should root for the Qatari. And Lucky Singh says we nurture Garnacho, Ahmad, and Vlahovic. I mean, Vlahovic would be an interesting transfer for sure. A player who I am a big fan of. He was actually one of the first players we did a scout report on after the World Cup. There was rumours of him coming in the January transfer window. Very impressed with him overall. Hasn't been a great season this year at Juventus, but maybe that means we could get him for that little bit cheaper if needed. Yes, sorry, just joked on something there. But yeah, Vlahovic certainly a very good player. Garnacho, Ahmad, players to nurture for the future. Plenty more players as well, I would add in there, the likes of Kobbie Mainoo. Definitely one for the future, one to look forward to. Others as well. Alvaro Fernandez, definitely excited about him. Pellistri as well, perhaps. Definitely very, very good young players breaking through. Of course, Charlie McNeil, another player, young striker, doing very well. Charlie Savage as well, actually, for Forest Green, doing definitely playing very, very well this season. But guys, keep your thoughts coming in. Loving this stream tonight. Great to talk to some new faces and have some new people on the channel. Of course, all streams are fully interactive, so get your thoughts in. We will talk about it, we will debate it, and we will have a proper conversation. And if you guys do want to support the channel, please, 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 consider hitting that sub button. Really helps me out, helps me bring more content to you guys. And yeah, it means that you guys will never miss a video, never miss a live, because they are always worth sticking around for, if it is so myself. So anybody who hasn't voted on the poll, please, please, please consider dropping a wee vote as well. Qatar are well ahead in that race. They are 87% from 63 votes. You guys clearly want Qatar. I think just getting back to the topic, getting back to the main aim of the stream, all depends on what Qatar want to do. If they want to overpay, I think they will get the club. I think the Glazers will be swayed by money in the end, and that's what it comes down to. So new comment in there from Leonard. Groom Shea Lacey to be a compliment to Garnacho. Honestly, one of the first people I've seen mention Shea Lacey on the channel here. Absolutely think Shea Lacey is a fantastic young player. He can genuinely do it all. He is so, so talented. Reminds me a lot of a Phil Foden type player. Somebody who is so dynamic, great on the ball, can play wide, play in the middle, score goals, create goals. Shea Lacey is absolutely fantastic. So that is a fantastic shout there, man. Really, really love seeing Shea Lacey's name on the comment. Definitely one to watch out for. If anyone hasn't seen Shea Lacey play, currently playing for the under-16 teams, one of the most talented players in the entire youth academy. Definitely worth a quick look at some of his highlights, how he plays, because Shea Lacey, as long as he doesn't get injured and manages to stay fit and work hard, he is a player we will be seeing a lot of in the years to come. So Big T, it'd be nice to get some players in who can put a cross in. Definitely an area we can produce more goals going forward. You know, I was actually having this talk with my dad earlier. We definitely need better crosses, and especially better corners, because there are so many corners in a match. I think we worked out on average United get like 12 corners per match across the season, and multiply that by the amount of matches we've had, like 600 corners. We scored about 7 or 8 goals from him. It's such an avenue where you can score goals, better crosses, better corners. We can add more goals to this team. Daz Sweets, is the Qatar bid really expected? Yes, it is expected. That has come out from the Daily Express newspaper. They, of course, have said that there is potentially another bid coming from Qatar, and that is something the Glazers will expect. If you haven't seen, as well, the Glazer family, Joel and Avram, following the FA Cup final for the women, they've been staying in a hotel in London owned by Sheikh Jassim's father. So there certainly has been some business talks going on in that. There is no way that they've stayed for multiple days in a hotel owned by the Qatari family and not talk business, not talk Manchester United sales. At the minute, it is believed, of course, that Jim Ratcliffe is leading the way. So if Qatar want it, they're going to have to put another bid in. They're going to have to offer up more money for the club. So that is a real possibility. But thank you for the comment. It does get us back onto the main topic of the show. As well as that, the poll is absolutely flying. You guys really enjoying voting on the poll. So thank you for that one, guys. 88% of people think Qatar will be owning Manchester United. And more people actually think the Glazers will stay than Jim Ratcliffe buys the club. I think that's very interesting. I hope... I do hope you guys are unfortunately wrong on that one. I really hope we get new owners in. If it's Radcliffe, if it's Qatar, whoever it is, we need new ownership and the Glazers gone. But if we can do that, I'll be very happy. I think there'll be real ambition at the club, a real chance to grow. New comment in there as well from Lucky Singh. I'm pushing for money for Takeover Qatar. Yeah, I mean, you guys have massively favoured Qatar in the poll, and we've seen this throughout the entire Takeover. I think people want to see it. I think people want to have that level of ambition. I can't blame people. Honestly, I'm like, I understand. I know why you want it. I know why people want to see Qatar take over at Manchester United. And I think, I do think that it's a real possibility. So just getting back to Daz's comment, I think that there is a chance that Qatar go in with another bid. That is what the newspapers are saying. That is what the media are saying. So it could happen. New comment, Leonard. Thank you for producing this platform for us to communicate as far as South Africa. I've just arrived home from work. Bless, bro. Thank you very much, man. Honestly, I think this is one of my favorite things about doing the platform, doing the show, is talking to you guys. I mean, I've had people on from the Philippines, Japan, China, America. I mean, I'm an Irish guy. I'm from Ireland, and I think it's amazing. It just shows the outrage of Manchester United, the global fan base, and it is fantastic to be talking to you guys. We are only a small channel, but we are trying our best. We are growing very fast, and your guys' support really makes a difference. I really appreciate everybody who has joined in tonight, everybody who has subscribed. Thank you very much for all that. Lucky Singh has another comment. We need investment. Yes, we do need investment. Investment in the stadium, investment in the team, in our training facilities. We seen when Ronaldo came and did his interview in the winter with Piers Morgan, he said it was the same gym, the same training complex that it was 15 years ago when he left the club. I mean, that's just not acceptable. That shows lack of ambition, lack of care from the Glazers. They haven't put that money in. We have to go out. We have to invest in this team, and we invest in the facilities. I actually believe there was an article put out by The Athletic maybe a year or two ago that the women's team were currently getting changed in portable cabins. I mean, we're Manchester United. I mean, this just isn't acceptable. We have to move on as a club. We have to go out, have that investment, have that strengthening of the facilities, of the stadium, backing the manager, go out, bring in some of the best young players. I've always said this. I've said this for a good few years now. When you look at the likes of Phil Foden breaking through at Man City, that should never have happened. Phil Foden, as talented as he is, he should have been a Manchester United player. We should have been all over that. And our academy, it has suffered in recent seasons. Some very good young players, the likes of Garnacho coming through, of course. But we should have even more. Our players, our scouting just hasn't been good enough. We have to go out with a bit of ambition. And I hope that with new ownership coming in, we can have a better infrastructure, better directors, scouts, directors of football, CEOs. With that will come change, will come success. I've said this all season long. We have the right manager. We have mostly the right players. We do need to fix a few, but we have to support them. We have to back them, and they cannot succeed without our support. They cannot succeed without owners investing money, strengthening the team, strengthening the facilities. That is what we need. That is where we have to be as a club. We have to be at the cutting edge of the game. At the minute, we're playing catch up. We have been playing catch up, struggling for many, many seasons. So all depends on that. The investment is key. The strengthening has to happen, and ultimately we have to go out, be ambitious, try to win things. This is Manchester United. New comment in there from Daz. Only viable option is Qatar. We all know it seems like the Glazers are playing games. The transfer window is getting damaged every day that passes. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Erik ten Hag, of course, he said himself that whenever it comes time to the summer, we don't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know what sort of money he has. He needs high quality players. He said so himself that we have to go out and sign high standard players, and we might not get there because we don't know how much money we have. We don't know who's going to be in charge of what. I mean, the guys who are there, the likes of Richard Arnold, John Murrah, those guys are going to have to do the summer because Jim Ratcliffe or Qatar or whoever comes in to buy the club is not going to have time to change things. They're not going to have time to bring their own people in, and that's definitely very worrying, and that is something that we have to be aware of as a fan base, that we could be running around in August trying to sign players. Erik ten Hag, he would want his business done. He would want that done in June ideally, but he might not get it. Big T, nice, got a lot of negativity there, but facilities were world class. Maybe one positive going forward with Ineos is the training facilities will become top notch. Training facilities grow top class players. Fourth bid, please, from Lucky Singh as well. Joe, completely agree with Big T there. I think training facilities is certainly something Ineos can provide. They have invested a lot of money in their own cycling teams and other sporting teams, and I think we could look forward to that. There certainly could be a strong investment in the training facilities, and top facilities, they make top players. That is what it comes down to. Would Cristiano Ronaldo have become the player he did if United's training facilities were crap when he was developing? Maybe not. You comment in there from Bimmy, it is the bid for Jim worth 6 billion of Glazers, 69% or 100% of United shares. So it's actually for the Glazers 69%. He would only be buying out the majority of the Glazer shares, over 50%. So he would be in control, but Joel and Avram Glazer, between them, they own around 20% of those shares. So they would kind of become like partners to him. So I hope that answers the question there for you, Bimmy. But yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. Actually, just got a quick notification on my phone there. United People TV are going live about another bid from Qatar, so we will have a quick bit of reaction to that. So let's see. Sheikh Jassim's new offer for Manchester United is believed to be significantly improved on his first, although it is still thought to value United at a lower price than Radcliffe. However, Sheikh Jassim's bid for total control with a fee to be paid now. So obviously that means that he wants total control over the club, investing that money, buying the Glazers out 100%. So that will be interesting. It will be interesting to see what happens in regard to that. Something that we've been wondering about is, was he going to go back in with another bid? In the last 20 minutes, that has come out from Mike Keegan of the Daily Mail, a very, very reliable journalist who's been on top of the game in terms of the reporting of the takeover. So breaking news, Sheikh Jassim has submitted an extraordinary 11th hour take it or leave it bid for Manchester United. He has submitted a final improved bid to see off competition from Sir Jim Ratcliffe and conclude a deal for total ownership. So that is new. That is something that has just broke. So we are bringing it live and direct to you guys. So I will quickly pull that report into the comments so you guys can see it as well, because not always easy just to keep running back over it. So I'll get that in for you guys. You guys can react to that as you see fit as well. And that is certainly a big development, something very, very interesting, very potentially very exciting. So let me just pull that up real quick. Of course, my internet is always so slow when I stream. I need a new laptop so bad. But we'll save up for that. That's what savings are for. But yes, Jim Ratcliffe is potentially going to lose out to Manchester United because Sheikh Jassim has put in a new bid for Manchester United. An 11th hour take it or leave it bid. That is what he has gone out with. Of course, so guys, get reacting to that. How do you guys feel about that? Another bid coming in from Qatar. We did say in the title, and that was an hour ago, that a new bid was expected. Looks like that bid has come in. That is breaking from Mike Keegan. Lucky Singh has come out with we need to go mega close to 6 billion. My only fear is that Qatar will get another offer for a club if they don't buy us. But Sir Jim comes in. I think he can invest the money. But will he be just like Liverpool and FSG, using his money, not United's? All depends. I'm not sure on that one, Bimmy. So I think it's very hard to see the future. We do have to remember that Jim Ratcliffe is a businessman and he would run the club as a business. And that is something we have to be wary of. Of course, you can have very good business owners. People can come in, invest a lot of money. I'm sure Jim Ratcliffe will want to win things with Manchester United. It definitely would be a point of pride, something that he would definitely want to do. I think there is a lot of negativity. New comment in there from Sir Justice Marumsa. How much is the bid? We actually have that as well for you, my friend. Sheikh Jassim's new offer from Manchester United is believed to be a significant improvement on his first, although it is still thought to value United at a lower price than Ratcliffe. His bid is for total control, so that's something we've seen throughout this whole saga. We've seen this a couple of times, is where the Sheikhs and Qatar, they want 100% of the club. Ratcliffe is offering slightly less money, but it's for only the Glazers part of the club, with the potential for them to stay on. So that's kind of where we are at. We do not have the figures just yet, but hopefully they'll come out in the next couple of hours. Of course, at 10 o'clock, there is an embargoed section in the press that gets released, so details like that will certainly come out very shortly, hopefully within the next hour UK time. So depending on where everybody is in the world, let me just do that. Yeah, okay, perfect. There we go, guys. So I've got that into the chat. I will pin the comment as well so you guys can see it just at the top of the chat. So with that in mind, anybody new, if you guys want to get voting, who do you think will become the new owners of Manchester United? Will Sheikh Jassim's late bid be enough? That remains to be seen. That is something we will have to react to. Probably tomorrow we will do another live talking about the latest bid from Sheikh Jassim, what's happening with that, if it's been accepted. Those details will come out very soon, I'm sure of it. But guys, yeah, so all that is sorted. Lucky Singh says, I'm nervous. Yeah, it's nervous. It's an exciting time. Hopefully this is us coming towards the end of this transfer saga. Hopefully we are getting towards the end of it all. Bimmy says, so the total control 100%, 31 points plus 69% of shares valuation for Man United for Ratcliffe is 8 billion. I don't think it's as much as 8 billion, Bimmy. I think, going off the latest figures from the previous round of bids, it came out that Ratcliffe had offered around 4.5 billion for, I believe it was around 50% of the Glazers shares, so that could be 50% of that 69, leaving the other 19% to Joel and Avram, and the 31% going, of course, to other Man United shareholders. I don't think it's as high as 8 billion. Of course, Qatar's offer was around 5 billion for that, so if it's been significantly improved, it could be close to 6 billion, this offer from Sheikh Jassim. But that will come out in time coming. Lucky Singh says we just need a new purse. Big T, knowing the Glazers, they will give Sir Jim the opportunity to come back with another offer. This could go on for a while yet. Completely agree. I think that is most realistic. It's just an endless back and forth. It's like, if anybody's ever tried to buy anything on eBay, you'll know what it's like. It's just a bidding war. It's backwards and forwards, and no end in sight. Honestly, we need this resolved quickly. I say this as an excited fan, I'm interested to see what happens, but we need this to be resolved. We need to know what our summer transfer budget's going to look like, what we can spend, who we're bringing in, what direction the club's going. That's what we need to determine. That's what we have to do. So, with that in mind, we will definitely be back pretty soon reacting to this, I'm sure, probably over the next day or two. So, guys, of course, if you want to join in for that, and you make sure you don't want to miss out, hit that sub button. Really helps me out, helps the channel out, and helps grow the community. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I've loved doing these shows and loved talking to you guys tonight. Lucky singing there again. I am nervous, of course. Yep, do agree. It's a nervy time for fans. It's a nervy time because we don't know what's happening. We've had a good season, a lot of progress, a lot of positivity. It all depends on the next couple of weeks. That's what it's going to come down to. And what happens next could determine United's fate for the next who knows how many years. It's a nervous time. It's a big time. It's an important time as a fan base, as a club. This is arguably one of the most important times to be a United fan. And this is some of the most important news we can react to. It is very tiresome covering this so much when there seems to be no progress. We want to see progress. We want to know what's happening, where the club is going, who's buying it, who's going to take over. But as Big T says, it could drag on even longer. There could be even more to come from this. So, of course, that is a concern. That is something we have to be worried about as fans. But with that in mind, guys, I'm going to leave the stream here. My voice is going. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much for the support. If you want to help us out on the channel, help the channel grow, please consider hitting that sub button. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure to join us later in the week for another live stream, of course, covering the Seal Talk. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.